All right, everybody, we are back. We've got Jeremiah in the booth and Ryan,
Hello.
Red Ryan. Yum. On screen here, we've got one of the MTG dads, Stefan, playing Sandy B. And we've got the Terminator himself, Luke, on Seeker Walk.
Has been on Seeker Walk for at least a year.
Yeah, some variation. You know, he's always been on it. I don't think I've ever seen him play Highlander with a different deck.
I think he played Rena Rector.
Oh, really?
He was on a Bant Rector pile,
Sick.
and then that got pointed into the ground and was just bad.
Cool. Yeah, so one of the interesting things about Luke's deck is he picked up a point when Spellseeker went down.
Yeah,
So this is the first time I think I've seen him play with survival in his deck. Actually, both players have survival in their deck.
played against both of them earlier today.
Yeah.
I played 2 matches against Stefan or a match against Stefan and a match against Luke today.
Did you crush him under your heel?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Price
Good.
of Progress tends to do that to these mana bases.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yep. And Stefan, I think this is his first outing with his new iteration of Sandy B, so he's probably working out some kinks.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what the league is for. Get some games in, try some things, see where you end up.
Yeah. Was talking to him after my match, and he said that he had just cut Birthing Pod
Oh,
for
yeah.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. I think both cards are must answers.
Yeah.
The Soul Cauldron gives you a little bit of redundancy as far as if your creature dies and sits in the graveyard, you still have something to do with it.
Well, it's also just this incidental graveyard hate that
Yeah.
is so relevant against a lot of combo decks in this format right now.
Yep. And actually, Graveyard Hate is quite good against Luke in general. He does use his graveyard to loop the Time Walk.
Yeah. Luke can win the games through just mid-range value, though. He is
He will,
playing the initiative creatures. He's playing some endurances. He can mid-range grind you.
Yep. And Stefan's doing kind of on the same sort of plan. He's got
Yeah.
the CZ and White Plume and Undermountain. So we're off.
Looks like they're starting.
Looks like Luke's on the play.
Yeah. Fetching a Verdant, or fetching a
Yeah, as a Verdant
Verdant
Catacomb.
Catacombs.
I have this sort of impending sense of dread every time Luke starts to search his library. You know, it's
I
just been
feel you
conditioned
there.
into me.
Yeah.
No matter what he's looking for, it's bad for me. But we start off with
It's a Utopia Sprawl, I believe.
yeah. Is that just a basic? Is that a snow-covered forest?
I
Is what
believe
is?
that looks like a snow cover to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's kind of some weird glare on the lands, and you never know what people are using for proxies sometimes.
Yeah, you got to look a little closely at the art. And Stefan's fetching an Arid Mesa.
Yep.
If I had to be a bit psychic here, I'd predict Savannah coming down.
Seems reasonable. You know, probably some. Yeah, I don't think he's playing like a tiger or anything. I don't think he has any reason to play any red. If he goes, he goes. Oh, is that a Godless Shrine?
That is. Entering tap.
So just goes for the tap land, but not a Triome.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe the Triome's in his hand. Just, I don't know.
It's a reasonable thing that some decks do cut the Triomes
Yeah.
because they really want all their lands to come in untapped.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get away with it in 3-color mana bases in a way that you can't in 4-color.
Yep. As you know, I'm a sucker for just being as greedy as possible when it comes to your mana
Full
base.
greed. Full
Yeah.
greed. Yeah.
If you're going to die to price progress anyway, might as well full send, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Mother of Rune's on Luke's side of the board.
2 mana up. Going for a 1 mana play with 3 mana available is interesting.
And that is a Devoted Druid, I believe.
Yes.
So maybe he's going to untap and play this Vizier and have infinite mana. You never know.
Yeah. He's playing. I forget the name of the card. I saw it against. That's the Vizier that gives prevents the -1/-1 counters. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what the deck is built to do.
Looks like
things like that. So
Gemstone Caverns to me. Maybe.
I believe that's a Misty Rainforest.
Oh yes, that is Misty. Yes.
For those of you who aren't in the room with me, Ryan did just take off his glasses. And it cannot be overstated how bad the monitor is in the room where we watch. it's very difficult sometimes to see cards.
We're taking our best guesses here.
Yep. You do not know pain in coverage until you've tried to cover Sean playing goblins.
Oh, yeah, you never know what any of the cards do.
No, I'm like, it's a goblin. It does goblin things.
It looks like a 1/1.
No. So Spellseeker from Luke, he's just getting right after it. Maybe both players are.
He has the extra land up. He might reveal the Ephemerate and just hold it in hand until his next turn. Because I believe he only needs to have 3 mana to go off. Because he needs to find the Ephemerate, cast the Ephemerate. He is finding the Ephemerate.
Yeah.
And it appears as though he's casting it.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's a Source of Plowshares. That is not an Ephemerate.
Sorry.
Yep, again, with the weird arts, but that's a Source of Plowshares.
It's also he runs both that art and the Strixhaven. Those are both the Strixhaven archives. He runs the Strixhaven archive Ephemerate and the Strixhaven archive Swords.
Gotcha. Stefan following up with an Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Pretty interesting string of cards. Now, Luke has one of his combo pieces on the board in the Spellseeker. Identifies that he will probably lose to infinite mana next turn and makes decisions accordingly. Now, does he also have the Ephemerate in his hand?
No, I believe he just went and fetched a Swords.
Yeah, but I was wondering if he naturally drew the Ephemerate.
That is a possibility.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's getting in there with the old wizard and playing a Scavenging Ooze. So we're going to have a Scavenging Ooze versus Soul Cauldron battle.
I think this is a battle that the Soul Cauldron loses.
Very generally, yeah. Especially if there's a lot of green mana on one side of the table, yeah.
Unless Stefan can get some pressure that necessitates Luke to start casting cards from his hand.
Yeah. There are several cards that Stefan would prefer to just force them to be removed from the game. Things like the Time Walk.
That is a Quasali Pride Mage.
Yeah. So it's a 2/2 Exalted that you can sack to kill an artifact or enchantment.
Not super relevant, but it is a 2/2, and that, I believe, it matches the Scavenging Ooze.
It does.
With no cards in the yard, that Scooze isn't getting any bigger.
Right. Can also get some counters from the Soul Cauldron should he somehow win this fight.
Yes. There is the Mother of Runes.
Yeah.
Resolved Mother of Runes to deal with, which...
It's not super fun.
No.
It
really isn't.
It's a pretty tough one. You need to sort of overload
a
number of effects to do it.
You might be able to get away if Stefan is running balance. That might do it. You could find a way to try to trade off your Pride Mage and then balance the board.
Yeah. And he's got a target for the Pride Mage. He's got that Utopia Sprawl down there.
Yes. Stefan is on Demonic Tutors. That does open up a world of possibilities if he ends up drawing that.
Yeah. His point spread in general suggests a toolbox sort of build.
And of course, there are the effects that exile chosen creature instead of target creature.
Yeah. Oh, Finality of Devastation coming down. Looks like X equals 2.
Yes.
So what do we go and get at 2?
Maybe an Outland Liberator. Sack it to blow up the cauldron. Start eating things from the yard, maybe.
Potentially. Yeah.
But if he was going to do that, he might have just went and grabbed Knight of Autumn instead.
Yeah. Although maybe it has something to do with the other 2 mana.
Phantasmal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's just going to start trying to combo over again.
He's going to get the Ephemerate here.
Luke has just a ton of these clone effects in his deck.
Running Metamorph as well.
Metamorph, the image, and they are deceptively good when paired with initiative creatures.
Oh, yes. The really scary thing that you worry about when you play Luke is if he plays a turn 1 Aether Vial.
Yeah.
Because that will allow him to combo kill on turn 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Or turn 4, because you'll Vial at the Seeker on your turn, untap, and win the game when he goes and does a Seeker loop.
So he's got the Ephemerate in hand. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana open, so he just chooses to wait.
Typically, if you feel like you're under interaction, you just hold it.
Yeah.
And it forces your opponent to basically sandbag their removal spell in hand and hold up the mana for it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so Vizier Seer on Stefan's side, another combo piece for him. It's often when you see these sort of toolboxy combo decks play each other, you just get a weird mix of things on the board, and a lot of times nothing happens for a while.
And then someone will oops into their combo.
Yeah, or they'll just attack with a bunch of subpar creatures.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This game isn't looking like it's getting particularly close to ending via combat damage anytime soon.
Yeah. Several tutors, looks like Eldritch Evolution and Diabolic Intent both in Steven's hand. So Stefan goes for the Eldritch Evolution on the Vizier Seer. So he's going for a 3-drop here. I'm not sure which 3-drop saves him here with a Mother of Runes and an Ephemerate.
Well, he's on blue-white. He could go grab an Archon.
He is on Abzan.
Green-white, yeah. He is running white.
Yeah,
he could grab an Archon of Emeria. I'm not sure if that's something he wants to run, though, in his deck. I'm not sure if that's a target that he has. The other option here is you could grab... that looks like an Oppo agent to me. So that will prevent Luke from tutoring the Time Walk.
It will, yeah. Yep, and Luke did not respond to the Eldritch Evolution, so he has no time to respond to this Oppo agent. So
correct.
It's just in play.
No interaction window once the
Yep.
evolution has resolved.
So Stefan finding a line to keep himself in the game here. We'll see what happens with Luke's hand and what's going on there. It looks like an Eternal Witness in his hand, maybe.
He's got the Ephemerate in there. We can see that being shuffled around. Eating a card from a yard with the Scavenging Ooze. Looks like it was the sacrificed Vizier Seer.
Yeah. Yeah, and Stefan choosing not to fight over it.
Probably trying to keep up interaction with Luke's graveyard in case he decides to Seeker combo off and finds a way to kill the opposition agent.
Yeah. Because a lot of times it does involve a Neoform and a Timeless Witness. And,
yes.
Instead, Luke just top decks a Seasoned Dungeoneer, goes into the dungeon. It's not a May to search when you enter the first room of the dungeon. So Stefan going to search for a basic land.
Yes. Stefan will be able to tell whether or not Luke has the Time Walk in his hand when he searches here.
Yeah, controls his turn. I'm fairly certain he's got Ephemerate Eternal Witness in his hand.
Yes. We know about the Ephemerate for sure.
Yeah.
Because Luke had to reveal that.
I still didn't see the green card, but I still believe it's an Eternal Witness. It looks like that.
It might also, it could be an Eternal. It might also be the Timeless Witness.
Yeah.
The Timeless Witness is the one that Luke wants to stay in his deck.
Right.
Because Timeless Witness being printed in Modern Horizons 2 is what enabled this shell originally.
Exactly. With
the combo line of actually being able to Neoform into it, since Neoform doesn't let you undershoot.
Exactly. Yep.
Looks like that looks like a snow-covered.
I imagine it's a. Yeah, I don't know. So this Spellseeker gets in, triggering the CZDZ because it's a wizard.
Yes.
So it has protection from creatures and it will explore. And gets a Spara's Headquarters, puts it in his hand.
Explorer getting a lot of support lately. A lot of new good cards that have Explorer with Rivals of Lost Caverns of Ixalan, not Rivals.
Yeah. Even the there's an Explorer combo now. The Amalia Wildgrowth Walker combo.
That's a big Pioneer thing right now, I believe.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So now we're back over to Stefan's turn. He's trying to sort of hazard out how to do this.
Yeah. Looks like an Elvish Mystic.
Yeah, not the most exciting play maybe on turn 5 or 6, but...
No. You might just want to play what you have.
Yeah.
And it looks like Stefan is down to 1 card.
It's fodder for the Diabolic Intent.
Yeah, okay. Stefan going to be able to find an answer here. Hopefully.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he goes for an answer card or tries to get proactive about winning the game.
Well, Stefan might be tutoring for a combo piece here.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. You won't be able to do your graveyard loop with the Scavenging Ooze on the board, and Luke having, I believe that's 2 green mana.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's a Carpulsan Forest. Or no, that's not
it's
a
City of Brass.
City of Brass, yeah. Yeah. What am I thinking? Luke's not playing red.
No. He will take some damage from his mana base, as he often does. And actually, maybe I'll have him move that life counter just a little bit over so we can see where they're at.
I believe it's currently 17 and 20.
Yeah. Got it right in the glare there. Like a pro.
Stefan has found a card.
Yeah. Maybe he just went for White Plume, Took that initiative.
White Plume doesn't fight against Seasoned Engineer terribly well.
It does not, no. So they do the fight over the Elvish Mystic here. Luke wins.
Yes.
And we are left in suspense about what was tutored for.
We may never know.
No. Orcish Bowmaster, and I have no idea what that other card is.
Yeah. Something with fancy art, though.
Yeah. It's a white card, I think.
Yeah. Is it one of those, maybe those frame break legends from Commander Masters, maybe?
Could be.
I'm not sure what legend you'd get here, though. That would...
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, if you're continuing to go down the answer path, Hellish Norn, Mother of Machines would be pretty good here with the 5 mana. But so the Bowmaster is going to target the Phantasmal Image just to kill it, because anything that targets it kills it. All right, so instead he goes after Mom. Mom gets self-protection from black. No damage is dealt, so no army is made. In response, Luke coming right back with Solitude on that Oppo agent.
Hard cast as well.
Yeah. If Luke had some blue face paint and a kilt, he would be yelling freedom right now.
I believe that was done on Luke's end step, so
yeah.
If that was done on, say, Luke's combat step or upkeep, Luke probably would have been able to immediately fire off that Ephemerate and start Seeker Walking.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ephemerate is good all the way across the board right now. It's good on that Seasoned Engineer. It's good on the Solitude. It's good on, it's all upside right now. On the Spellseeker. The only thing it's not good on is Phantasmal Image.
No. Passing the turn back.
Yeah. So
this makes me think maybe a Solitude has been tutored for.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think he'd go for it with the Mother of Runes tapped.
Yeah. Maybe, but he didn't have. Maybe he doesn't have the card to pitch to it.
Yeah.
Because he was on. He had 2 mana untapped, so.
Yeah.
Because he had to pay for the Diabolic Intent that turn.
So some question as to whether there's an army token in play. There should not be.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we going to do here?
Ultimately, this...
okay, we got the Knight of Autumn.
Taking out the...
Yeah. So Luke has sort of unraveled the web that Steven, has come up with here to stop him from...
Things are not looking good.
Yeah. So we got another Spellseeker coming in with the Seasoned Dungeoneer trigger. Now, this is really interesting because if Stefan does have the Solitude, the Spellseeker now has protection from creatures.
Correct.
So if he decides to go for it in the face of a Solitude, even without the Mother of Ruins, he would be fine.
Yes. I think, knowing Luke, he likes to not go for it unless he feels like the coast is definitely clear or he has to go for it.
Yeah.
This might be a situation where he's just coasting, letting Seasoned Dungeoneer and the Initiative do its job.
Yep.
As I believe an Alpha Swing from Luke next turn wins the game. So Luke is possibly sandbagging interaction and maybe being a little reticent about whatever Stefan tutored for off the Diabolic Intent.
Yeah, we still don't know what that is, which is interesting.
Luke has the board to be a bit cautious here.
Yep. Yeah, he's got the ability to just wait it out, for sure. Okay, whatever that card is.
I think that might be a March of Otherworldly Light. Maybe?
Gosh, I don't know.
Showing cards in graveyard.
I'm going to go find out what that card is.
Yeah. Looks like Stefan has just conceded and we're going to game 2. We're going to find out what that card is, though.
Okay, so Stefan had a Swift reconfiguration.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I had the right set.
Yes. Yeah, I could not figure out what that was for the life of me. Yes. So Luke gets game 1.
Yeah.
They
Swift
shuffle up.
reconfiguration is a flash enchantment that enchants a creature and makes it lose all abilities.
Yeah, it turns into a vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it turns into a vehicle with crew 5.
Yep. Yeah. Interesting that that's what he would tutor for there. I wonder
He
what his
might
plan
have tutored
was.
for the Bowmasters.
That's true.
You might have... We don't know for sure that the Swift reconfiguration is the tutor target there.
Yep, that's true.
If he's looking for removal, I think he would have tutored for like a Swords or a Path instead.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to think that the Bowmasters was the tutor there.
Yeah, it's interesting. But Stefan will be on the play. For the next game, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Definitely where you want to be.
Yeah.
Into game 2 for Luke. Because you only have to win one of the next 2 and you're going to be on the play.
Right, exactly. Alright, so we're looking at some opening hands. Saw Sylvan Caryatid. Looks like maybe the Vizier was in his hand.
Yeah. Luke is going to mulligan.
Vizier. There was a Llanowar Elf in there.
I think there's a basic swamp, maybe?
Yeah.
I think that was the Neon Dynasty art swamp. Possibly.
He must not have had enough unswamps. He loves those unswamps.
That might have been an unswamp. The full art swamps are not super easy to tell apart at a glance with them highly angled towards you.
Well, sometimes they look like mountains, you know, in terms of the Kamigawa. Oh, there's a Deathrite Shaman in there, too. Maybe a Takanuma? I don't know.
It could be a
We'll see.
Takanuma. It's that is a unforest for sure.
Yeah.
Is that a Shieldred that I saw?
No, I think it's a Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
A Vizier. Oh, an Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Okay. Mana acceleration always good.
Yeah, a lot of mana
Looks like
dorks.
this is going to be copied with a Noble Hierarch.
Yeah. 2 humans that make white mana just staring at each other across the void.
Stefan missing land drop and casting a...
Sylvan Caryatid.
Yes. Still on 3 mana next turn, though.
Yeah.
So... That looks like...
I really would like to see Stefan do his thing at least once, you know?
I think he has part of the combo in hand.
I saw the Vizier for sure.
Yes, that is definitely a Vizier in hand.
Yeah. And he's got a Deathrite Shaman, which I think he probably held because he didn't want Luke to not fetch.
Yeah.
There's a Retrofitter Foundry right there, a Judge promo. I gave that to Stefan for his birthday. Yeah.
He was very happy.
Yeah.
We talked about it during our match.
Dads always get the best birthday presents, you know?
Yeah. It's going
All
to be
right,
a
we got a
prismatic.
pending. Yeah.
Taking out
Luke
the
going for
Abzans.
human advantage.
Yes.
He leaves Stefan to the plants.
Also a mom on board, so
Yep.
looks like Stefan going to throw out the Deathrite and Llanowar Elves. Try to get some backup on mana here.
Luke showing that our robot overlords truly have subjugated humanity. He summons them at his will.
A lot of dorks this game, not a lot of action so far. Though Luke passing with 4 mana is...
Yeah, it's a little scary. Okay, we got a dress down on the upkeep.
Okay.
So,
Gonna deny Stefan mana this turn.
yep, draw card. Does
Seems
turn
pretty
off
good.
his Mother Runes, though.
It does.
Yeah.
But Stefan will only have green mana available unless he can make a land drop here.
Does not look likely.
No.
Looks like there's a Scavenging Ooze in his hand. I believe that
I think it might...
black-white card might be a Bartholomew.
He was playing the one... He was playing a 2/2
Yeah.
for 3 that I think you could sacrifice it and give protection, I believe.
I know he's playing the black-white vampire where you can sacrifice a creature or an artifact to put a 1/1 counter on it.
Yes.
There's an Undermountain Adventurer for Luke. Taking the initiative. He's going to go searching for that land.
Yes.
Unafraid of Opposition Agent. Unblinking, unafraid.
I mean, you just go for it.
Yeah.
Even if Stefan does have the opposition agent, Stefan is only able to get a land here, which might
Yeah.
help get him accelerated on mana because you can play the cards with Oppo, right? It's not just cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you still have the initiative and an Undermountain Adventure, and it's unlikely Stefan is.
Is this Varal's, the Scar Striped? It is.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason Varal's is in some of these decks is it's one of the only green creatures you can find that's an instant speed sack outlet. So you can sacrifice a creature to give him regenerate or to regenerate him. So
Also gives every creature in your yard scavenge, right?
yep, exactly, for its mana cost. So there have been times in Magic's history where it's been paired with some various cards, the 1 mana 12/12s or 13/13s, to just put 13 counters on something. But in this case, it's a green instant speed
Sacrifice.
sack outlet. Yep. So Luke maintains the initiative and goes down the Lost Well to scry.
Not looking to close out this game quickly off of his...
Yeah, I think he feels like he's in a pretty solid spot, and he doesn't want to give Stefan a ton of time, but depending on the cards in his hand, he may be pretty close to just firing off.
Yes. Well, none of his creatures really have inherent trample.
Right.
If that was a seasoned engineer like we saw last game, I think we might see Luke going down a different route in this Undercity.
So we're getting in there with the Vigilant Attacker.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Man, I bet this game is a grind fest.
Kind of. It looks like we got a Fiend Artisan out of Luke, so he's getting to be pretty threatening here as far as ending the game.
What game is it?
Game 2.
Who got game 1?
Luke.
Okay.
Luke just went on the Bant aggro plan and
Right
got
on.
that one. Stefan had him locked down for a long time with an opposition agent, but Luke cracked it open with the Solitude and just went crazy.
Oh boy.
We were staring at a board full of 2/2s and 1/1s there for a while that were just sitting there staring at each other.
Yeah. So we do have the Marsh Flats, so Stefan finally finds a second land.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to keep those high dork, low mana count hands,
Yeah.
and they'll snowball.
Yep.
Because if you find that second land, that is a very explosive hand.
Correct.
And the game plan of just high roll it is sometimes what you need
Yeah.
in this format.
Yeah, it's very likely that if Stefan isn't going to interact somehow, this is his last turn with the Fiend Artisan in play.
Yes.
So he plays a Fauna Shaman, I believe.
Looks correct, because he's tapping 2 mana for it. Now he's going to tap another 2.
And Scavenging Ooze.
Okay. Not quite. He will be able to exile a card from the yard.
Yep.
And he will be able to use Deathrite to get green to maybe fight Luke over some graveyard shenanigans.
So Luke goes for a Court of Calling and a turn. This is not good news for Stefan. If you look at Luke's portrait right now, he is shuffling so furiously that the computer is dancing. That's a sign that he knows he's there.
Luke is finding Spellseeker here.
Yeah. And Spellseeker triggers, probably finding Ephemerate.
Quite possibly.
Unless he's already got it in his hand.
Though Luke frequently ends up not finding Ephemerate with the Spellseeker. It is going to be the Ephemerate this time, though.
Yep. He's got Mom to protect.
Yep. Yep. Mom will be protection.
Yeah.
The interaction point will be, does Luke have a way of dealing with the Skoos or the Deathrite Shaman?
Right.
Either works. All he has to do is make it so that he can get the Ephemerate back with the Timeless Witness.
Right.
Before Stefan can interact with his graveyard.
Yep. So I think what he can probably do is Ephemerate the Spellseeker and use the Fiend Artisan to find whatever he needs to get the Ephemerate back, you know?
Yeah.
So he can use the Spellseeker to get something to kill the Skoos. Oh, he just had the Get Lost in hand.
Ah.
Yeah, so
he
just had it, yeah.
Yeah, you always got to have it.
Yeah.
And he is going for the Deathrite Shaman, it looks like.
No, he got the Skoos.
Yes. Skoos is going away. That is Stefan tapping the Deathrite Shaman to eat a land. And
yeah. And so here we go into Amphi turns. Stefan sees the writing on the wall, and off he goes. So we will take a short break and be back with the next match.